Hey guys, so today I'm going to be working on my two-stroke carburetor. This is off of a 2010 KTM 300XCW. It's a Keenan carburetor, but none of that really matters because every single two-stroke carburetor is pretty much exactly the same. They may be lighted out a little bit different, but they have all the same components, so going through it and cleaning it will be the same no matter what year or model of bike you may have. The reason I'm doing this is because I was out riding a couple weeks ago and I'd get on the throttle and mid to top end of the power band, the bike would just automatically bog and start dying. So I'm assuming the main jet's plugged. So I'm going to go through it, clean it all out, put it back in, and I'm assuming that problem will just go away.
Running like shit and everything. Yeah.
So for this job, you're going to need a small pan to clean the carburetor in. You're going to need a bunch of paper towels, some carburetor cleaner, a parts brush, a small flat-headed screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, and some Allen wrenches. So before I crack the carburetor open, I'm going to use some carb cleaner here, and I'm just going to spray out the outside and scrub it a little bit with a parts brush. Kind of goes without saying, but you want to make sure you don't get any dirt in the carburetor as you're doing this. So it's just good to make sure you're starting with a clean surface before you dig into it. That should be sufficient to crack it open anyways. You can see here just how much dirt was on the outside of that. Mostly just because I didn't have a chance to take the pressure washer to my bike after the last ride, so it's a little more dirtier than usual. But even if you do wash the bike, there's usually a lot of like stuff hidden in all the little cracks of the carburetor, so it's always good to clean that out first. The next part to get this thing cleaned out is to take off the bowl, which is the bottom half here. There's usually 4 Phillips screws in the bottom here. So just pull this off. So once you have the float bowl off, the next thing you'll need to do is take out this pin that holds the actual float in place, and you can just take that out, set it off to the side. Then your float comes out with the float needle here, and then you're really just down to the housing of the carburetor. And there's going to be a lot of channels. The biggest ones you're worried about obviously are the main and the pilot jet, because those are the smallest holes where dirt can likely get stuck. You're going to have channels through here that you want to blow out. Obviously, if you have your carburetor set up the way you like it, don't mess with the idle air screw, because that's just going to make your bike run weird after you put this back in. Generally speaking, with a two-stroke carburetor, you're never going to have any problems with the slide area or any of this up here. I just like to kind of rinse it off in case there's any dirt particles that get left in there from having taken the thing apart or pulled it out of the bike. In my case, I have to pull this top cap off of the slide before I pull the bike out, and in that case sometimes dirt gets knocked down in there. You can see here I just pulled out this jet here, which goes down in there, and I've blown it out because it looked like there might have been some little particles in there. It's fine to pull out the jets on the bottom because they just screw in tight. They're not any kind of adjustment other than the size of the hole that the fuel is allowed to flow through. If there's any amount of dirt in there or any kind of gunk buildup, it's very likely that that's going to be your problem, since that is the smallest space for that fuel to flow through. I'm actually going to pull this one out as well. In most cases when you're cleaning out the carb, it's really actually difficult to tell if you've done anything productive, because if there's any particle that's stuck in one of these jets, it's going to be so small that even if it does wash out, it's hard to tell if it was on the outside of the carb or if it was even causing a problem. You really won't know if it solved the problem until you put the carb back together and throw it in the bike and see if it did anything to help you. I think that's good for now. I want to take and clean this off really well, and I also want to spray this off just to make sure that there's no gunk on it. These parts usually you don't have an issue with. It's usually just one of those jets in the bottom. Lastly, I'm just going to blast out the bowl itself. This is just for the vent line for the bowl in case it gets too full. But I'm just going to spray this off. Make sure that I get everything out. So now I need to put the float back in with the float needle. And the easiest way to do this is just to hook the needle on the little tab here so that the needle is dangling from that tab on the float. And then drop the needle down into the hole. Oh, come on. There we go. And that's in place, and then you can take this pin here and you can put it through the hole on the side. Come on, there we go. This vent tube slides down in that hole there, so I'm just going to drop that in kind of at an angle. It's going to seat down, and then I can put my screws back in. So the carburetor is all back together now and clean. I feel pretty confident that that's going to solve the issue that I was having. In my case, like with the slide here and the needle, that goes in kind of after, once you've got the carburetor back in the bike. But in this case, I just want to make sure that all the parts are clean, and then when I put it back in, I don't knock any dirt in the top, or when I put this in, I don't knock any dirt in or get this dirty in the process. So you're just trying to get it all sealed back up without getting any dirt on the inside. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any thoughts or questions on this project, you can put those in the comment section below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. As always, like this video and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it.